Legendary crimes that inspired famous horror movies. You know that feeling when the horror movie ends? You turn the lights back on, your heart is still pounding, and you let out a sigh of relief, telling yourself, it's only a movie. But what if it isn't? What if some of the most unforgettable monsters and shocking stories you've ever seen on screen were actually ripped straight from real-life headlines? Hollywood has always had a fascination with the dark side of life, but sometimes the scariest monsters aren't dreamed up by screenwriters. They're found in old, dusty case files. Here at Tales Beyond Borders, we believe the most compelling stories are the true ones. Today we're uncovering the real-world crimes that were so chilling, they became some of the most legendary horror movies of all time. Section 1. The Butcher of Plainfield and Hollywood's Monsters. Think about Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 masterpiece, Psycho. You immediately picture Norman Bates, the quiet motel owner with a deeply unsettling attachment to his mother. Then, a decade later, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre gave us Leatherface, a hulking killer in a mask made of human skin. And in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs introduced us to Buffalo Bill, who was trying to create a woman suit out of his victims. 3 iconic villains, 3 terrifying movies. But the most disturbing part? Norman Bates, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill all sprouted from the same twisted root. His name was Ed Gein. Back in 1957, in the sleepy town of Plainfield, Wisconsin, police showed up at Gein's farmhouse looking for a missing hardware store owner. What they found inside was a genuine house of horrors. There were bowls made from human skulls, chairs upholstered with human skin, and even a belt made from nipples. Gein was a grave robber and a murderer who confessed to killing 2 women. After his domineering mother died, he sealed off her rooms, preserving them like a perfect shrine. The chilling detail gave us the character of Norman Bates and his twisted obsession. And Gein's grotesque hobby of making trophies and masks from human flesh directly inspired the on-screen terror of both Leatherface and Buffalo Bill. Section 2. The Call Coming from Inside the House. Have you checked the children? It's one of the most bone-chilling lines in movie history. From the opening of the 1979 classic, When a Stranger Calls. A babysitter is getting tormented by creepy phone calls, only for the police to trace them and reveal they're coming from inside the house. It's a terrifying idea that has haunted audiences for generations. But that premise didn't just come out of nowhere. It's based on a popular 1960s urban legend called The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs, which itself was very likely inspired by a tragic, unsolved crime. On March 18, 1950, in Columbia, Missouri, a 13-year-old girl named Jeanette Chrisman was babysitting for the night. At some point, she made a frantic, terrified call to the police, screaming for help before the line suddenly went dead. When the parents got home, they found Jeanette murdered. The police figured out an intruder had broken in, and while they had a suspect, no one was ever charged. This horrifying real-life event of a babysitter being attacked in what should have been a safe home almost certainly fueled the folklore that became a horror movie staple. Section 3. Say His Name. The 1992 film Candyman gave us a whole new kind of boogeyman. The movie tells the story of Daniel Robitaille, the ghost of a black artist lynched in the 1800s for falling in love with a white woman. As the legend goes, if you say his name 5 times into a mirror, he'll appear with a hook for a hand to claim his next victim. This story is a fascinating mix of old folklore and a very real, very recent tragedy. The writer drew inspiration from classic urban legends like Bloody Mary, who's also summoned through a mirror, and The Hookman, an escaped killer with a prosthetic hook. But the film's setting in a Chicago housing project and a key murder that happens through a bathroom mirror were taken directly from the 1987 murder of Ruthie Mae McCoy. McCoy, who lived in a Chicago housing project, called 911 multiple times, desperately claiming that someone was trying to break into her apartment through her bathroom mirror. Tragically, her calls were dismissed. She was later found murdered, killed by intruders who had broken through the wall from the vacant apartment next door. Her story gave a layer of devastating reality to the fictional terror of the Candyman. From the twisted acts of one man in a secluded farmhouse to the ghost stories we whisper in the dark. The line between fiction and reality is blurrier than we think. The horror stories that truly stick with us aren't just about ghosts and monsters. They're reflections of our deepest, real-world fears. They're a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest story isn't the one on the screen. It's the true one, hiding right beneath it. If you found this journey into the dark fascinating, make sure you subscribe to Tales Beyond Borders and hit the notification bell. We're always exploring the true stories that hide in the shadows of fiction. Let us know in the comments which movies' real-life origins you want us to investigate next. Until then, keep seeking the Tales Beyond Borders.